You know, the hardest part about changing bad habits to good habits is that your bad habits are there for a reason. They're there because you really like them. Because they're fun, or it tastes good, or, you know, whatever the case might be, right? If Cheetos is your bad habit, you got into Cheetos because you like Cheetos, right? So it's hard to break a bad habit and replace it with a good habit because the bad habits are typically a behavior that you enjoy. And that's why you got into it in the first place. But you know it's not good for you, and you know you shouldn't continue to do it. And that's the insidious thing about habits, right? Is because they're not instantaneous. You don't take pop one Cheeto in your mouth and fall down of a heart attack 50 pounds heavier. No. It takes time, and it's insidious in nature how it develops. So how do you replace a bad habit with a good habit? And the answer is, number one, you've got to decide you really, really want to. You got to decide that you want it. Because until you want to, it isn't really going to matter. You can know it's bad for you all day. You can know that it's not the right thing. You can know that it's hurting you. You can know that it's unhealthy. You can know that it's damaging to relationships or whatever the case might be. But until you want to change, it ain't going to happen. So number one, you've got to want it. And if you don't want it yet, but you think you should want it, then here's what you can do. You can spend more time reading about, listening to stories about the negative consequences of that habit. You know, if you want to quit smoking, get your hands on as much material as you can about lung cancer, the pain that's involved, chemotherapy, and fill your brain with as much bad stuff about smoking as you can. Eventually, something in your brain is going to go, ugh, we don't want that anymore. And your desire, your appetite will begin to change, okay? So number one is you have to want it. And if you don't want it, you got to start filling your head with the kind of stuff that's going to make you want the change. The next thing is now you've got to find a new habit, a healthy habit that you enjoy. Something that is going to fill the gap. So for example, if your habit pattern was to go to the vending machine every day at your 10 o'clock break and get a candy bar and a Coke, right? And you know that's not good for you because you're trying to lose weight or whatever the case might be. And you say, okay, I want to replace that bad habit with a good habit. What good habit could it be? Well, if you hate broccoli, munching broccoli instead of going to the vending machine isn't going to do the trick. Does that make sense? You've got to replace it with something you really enjoy. So let's say that you really, truly enjoy going outside and getting some air and going for a walk. So what you might do instead of going to the vending machine is you might go down the stairs and out the front door and go walk around the block. Takes you 10 or 15 minutes. You come back, you're refreshed, you're renewed, you go sit at your desk and you go back to work, and that becomes your new habit and you begin to enjoy that more. What will happen now, even though in the beginning you may think to yourself as you're walking around the block, man, I really want that candy bar, I really want that, you'll begin to notice that as you get away further and further from those bad habits, that your appetites will change and it'll become easier and easier and easier. This was one of the principles that I employed when I changed my really bad nighttime TV habit into a money-making habit, right? I figured out how to turn making small little videos like this into a cash flow. And so instead of sitting in front of a screen and watching a movie, I decided to sit in my office and make a few small ones. And by doing that now, I've created a really nice income, whereas watching TV wasn't paying me anything. If you want to know a little bit more about that, right, how that process works, you can click on the link below the video. It'll take you to workingwithbrian.com, and I'll show you the blueprint I used to create that income source making videos. But that's one example of how if you get your mind around a bad habit that you have, decide you really want to change it, figure out something you enjoy that you can replace it with, it is completely possible to turn your life around. You can even create a great income doing it.